Welcome to another vlog. I had a very busy weekend this weekend. I traveled to Toronto to receive an award from Muscular Dystrophy Canada, along with many other recipients. Congratulations to everyone who received an award. You guys are very deserving. But that's not what I want to talk about today. This week's theme is Duchenne Muscular Dystrophy. I'm revisiting the topic of muscular dystrophy from many episodes ago. You remember I talked about it um, in episode 3. So on Thursday I'll be releasing a video where I talk about what Duchenne Muscular Dystrophy is. So subscribe if you'd like to see that video. But today what I want to talk about is my experiences growing up as a person with Duchenne Muscular Dystrophy. So I was diagnosed when I was 13 months old, so I don't remember really anything about that. I do know that when I was diagnosed, the doctors basically told my parents that I wasn't expected to live past the age of probably about 20. Um, Fortunately, the prognosis for Duchenne muscular dystrophy, for the most part, has improved dramatically, but it's still a very serious disorder with a shortened life expectancy. Um, they also told my parents to treat me like they would any other child, and for the most part, my parents did a very good job of doing that. So thank you, Mom and Dad, for, being so supportive. But I really want to start from about elementary school. So growing up, I knew I had Duchenne muscular dystrophy, and I knew I wasn't like the other children. I knew I wasn't as fast or as strong as them. Now, for the most part, in elementary school, I didn't have too much trouble fitting in. I got along very well with my peers. There was a little bit of bullying, but I was fortunate that there wasn't very much. Then, when I was about 11, I started using a wheelchair full time. And that's when things started to get a little bit more difficult. So going into junior high, where I was in a wheelchair and I had more challenges, I had fewer things in common with my peers, many of whom, did things like playing sports and other activities that I couldn't really participate in. But I still got along with them for the most part quite well, and I still fit in somewhat, maybe not quite as well as I did in elementary school, but I still did fit in well. And I think this was around the time when I started to kind of realize what my identity was as a person with a disability. Um, there were a lot of things that people, thought I might not be able to do because of my disability, and I think I surprised them and also myself. One of the things that I did was we went on the Quebec trip in grade 9. That was where basically we go on the tour buses and travel all the way to Quebec City and Montreal. That required a lot of planning, but I was glad that they, allowed me to participate in that, and that the teachers were as supportive as they were. It was also around this time that I started going to Camp Tidnish every year. When I was at Camp Tidnish, that's where I met a lot of other people with disabilities and who I had a lot more in common with. And that helped to, again, enforce my identity as a person with a disability. I accepted who I was, and that was where I met my good friend Nick Vidito, who became a mentor of sorts to me. Now, unfortunately, Nick passed away last year, which was very difficult, but in the years that I knew him, he was a very great mentor. And then I went to high school, and this is when I really got into advocacy and things. I was involved in a lot more extracurricular activities and got to take the classes that I enjoyed and really show people what I was capable of despite having a disability. Starting at age 16 and then every 2 years for the next 8 or 10 years, I went to a number of youth conferences across the country in Toronto and Calgary and Vancouver for Muscular Dystrophy Canada, met more people with disabilities my age from across the country, and got even more into advocacy and things like that. When I graduated high school, I wanted to go to college and study film. This was something that people didn't think that I'd be able to do based on the fact that I had a disability. I mean, up until that point, there weren't a lot of people with Duchenne who were able to go to college. And the film program I wanted to take, they never had a student with a disability. But I managed to, with a lot of help from my parents and teachers, get everything set up. I had my own apartment in the city with caregivers who came in to take care of me, and I went to college and studied screen arts, and I ended up successfully completing the program, even though there was a lot of people who didn't know that was possible. So even then, I was all those years ago, that was about 7 years ago, I was still defying people's expectations. And then after that, I did move back home to Bridgewater and took another course at the college in Bridgewater, and I've worked a couple of jobs in relation to my film and marketing studies that I've enjoyed. You know, and these are a lot of things that many years ago people didn't think that people with Duchenne or really any disability could do. And I was able to do them. So in that sense, I'm very proud of myself. So the best advice I could give to someone with a disability is to just persevere. If you have a goal in mind, pursue it, and don't let anybody tell you that you can't succeed just because you have a disability. There's a lot more things that I could talk about in great detail, but where I only have about 10 minutes, I don't want to overdo it. So I hope you'll tune in on Thursday to see Thursday's video about Duchenne Muscular Dystrophy. And if you enjoyed this vlog and you want to see more vlogs like this one, please subscribe. Thanks for watching, and see you on Thursday.